Hey guys, I hope you all had nice holidays and a happy new year. So at the start of the new year, I wanted to do something a little bit different. Turning 8-bit sprites into drawings, or at least my interpretation of those 8-bit sprites into drawings. So let's start with something simple, and that was Pikachu. So I want to start with a simpler shape, but not something too simple like Kirby, so I wanted to start off with Pikachu. This was kind of challenging because, well, I know Pikachu's shape very well, you know? Like, he hasn't changed too much over the years, except for being a little bit less, well, fat. So seeing just this sprite, which is even more simplified of Pikachu's shape, was kind of challenging. First thing that I noticed was that I didn't see a mouth nor a nose, so I decided to remove that. His eyes seemed kind of mean looking. I think that's just the angle, but I decided to go with that. Of course, you can't really see his fingers, so I decided to just make them like little knobs. His tail is pretty similar, except you can't really see like the little red collar on the beginning portion of his tail, and it kind of looked like he had like little fluffy cheeks. Also, the little circles on his cheeks look like, I guess, little hearts, so that's what I made them. And yeah, I had a really rough time because I already expected it to look a little bit cursed, since, you know, everyone knows and loves Pikachu very well. So I wasn't really sure how it was gonna look. So, as for the end result, I do think this is my least favorite out of the three. I'm just gonna say that right now. But I will give myself points for uniqueness. Like, you can clearly see it was based off of Pikachu, but it's not just another Pikachu clone, you know? Like, he does look original enough. For my first try, it looks fine. Fine. Next up, we have the Princess of the Mushroom Kingdom, Princess Peach, or known back then as Toadstool. I know there's already a lot of art of what she would have looked like because her sprite looks fairly different than she would look like nowadays. And I wanted to start off giving her more of a human anomaly, just like she does nowadays, I guess. So I did have to start off completely from scratch, using this, how do you even call it, this body base. So when growing up, I never used like these reference bases for drawing humans or whatever. Like drawing the circle with like the little cross for like the face. I never did that. I always just drew it just straight out of my head. Like I started with the eye, then created like a head around, then the hair, and then the body. So if there are like some art pros out there who are like cringing at how I started this drawing, I'm sorry. I never really used that until like more recent years. And then even then, when I started digital art, I didn't use that much either. So anyway, I wanted to have her hair like in front of her eyes, since you can't really see her other eye. I know that's because she's like standing sideways, but hey, it's a little different, you know? And her sleeves, I guess you can see them as like the puffy sleeves she has now. But I always kind of saw it as like, you can interpret it as like kind of, I don't know, these little straps around her shoulder. She also has a very large crown, so I kind of wanted to give her more of a crown rather than like a tiara, I guess. And then her colors. Yeah, the colors were very limited back then, so it's just mostly a white dress, red hair, and a very tan skin. So she has some thick lips, holy crap. So I wanted to keep that. I did make the colors a little bit more deep, a little bit more dark, so it would look a little bit more natural. And unironically, she looks completely different, but she does have a little bit of a Rosalina, you know, with like the one eye covered and like showing her shoulders. Also, I gave her like the old 90s eyes because, well, in the sprite's only like a black dot. You can't really make out a character out of that, you know? Like, whenever I draw anime eyes, I like to kind of convey the emotion of like the character. Like, you can see kind of what a character is based off just the eyes. But you can't really get that from the sprite, so I just decided to use the old traditional 90s black dotted eyes. So, in the end, it's definitely a step up from the first one in my opinion. She looks original. Again, I really like that. I'm glad that they went with the design for Peach that they have now, because this is just a little bit boring in my opinion, but if there is another character that looks like this, I think that'd be pretty cool. You don't really have a Mario character that really looks like this. I guess the closest thing would be like Mona from WarioWare or something. So yeah, I'm a lot more pleased with how this one came out. And for the final one, I really wanted to draw like something scary, you know, because scariness is kind of hard to depict out of just like sprites or 8-bit pixels. I really just wanted to transform a basic sprite into something more terrifying. So I decided Ganondorf, or Ganon. Another reason why I chose Ganon is because his official art looks so freaking goofy. Like, he's supposed to be this menacing monster, and I don't know, he looked just so goofy, so I really wanted to just see what I could make if he looked a bit more menacing. So I tried to keep all of his main assets in there, including the goofy boots. Those boots make him look so much more goofy, so I didn't want to, but like it is in the original sprite, so like I just had to work with it. I decided to give a lot more like stripes and lines for a bit more edginess. When it comes to the color scheme, I again used the original color scheme, just a lot more darkened to give it just a little bit more edginess and, well, scariness. And I actually think it works pretty well. They actually use a lot of like the colors they use, like the light blue. Even like the bright red cape, I was kind of scared at first to use because I was like, oh, is this gonna look too jarring? But surprisingly not. Like, it fits actually really well with the contrast of the rest of his dark body, you know? I also gave him like bright glowing eyes. At first I did want to like put teeth in him, but that looked a little bit too generic, so I just decided to like let him like have a lot of saliva, which I think works out a lot better. Like, it looks a lot more like a mindless beast. When it comes to the shadow, I decided to make it look like he has a little bit more fur. I did make his boots brown instead of red, just because having red boots would look even more goofy. So I decided to have a little bit more of like the old school brown boots to make him fit more in the time rather than like the thing with like the red boots, it looks like rain boots, you know? So I wanted to have more of like a medieval brown boots kind of style. And I think it definitely works a lot better. So out of all the three, Ganon and Peach are definitely the ones that have turned out the best in my opinion. Especially Ganon, like his glowing eyes really work. It really pops out like in the darkness and with like the rest of his like darkened color scheme. He looks a lot more mindless and menacing, and I kind of wish this was more how they portrayed his official art, but I digress. Also, I totally just noticed something wrong with his hand. I was kind of rushing drawing these because of the holidays and like New Year and celebrating everything, so sorry if there were any major errors in my drawings. I did not really have time to delve in too much detail. So forgive me. That was it for these three drawings. If you have more ideas, please leave them in the comments. Like, I've really struggled really hard to find like 3 sprites that I wanted to draw. So if you have more recommendations, please let me know. Also, if you have any other recommendations of drawing ideas, you know, like any other drawing challenges, feel free to let me know. And yeah, I hope I'll see you in my next videos. Later!